Turki Alalshikh, the man with the plan, the man with a whole heap of money in his hand, or should I say in his pocket, in one take over boxing and try and lock it. This is his vision. He's just a boxing fan with a lot of money. And he's getting impatient with what's going on in boxing and what he was seeing. Because apparently he's got an illness that might take him out of the game quite shortly. And he was like, listen, I need to see fights that I want to see before I don't be here. So let me get my money together and get my conglomerates together, because we're taking over a lot of sports anyway. So let's just drag boxing into the situation. I love a boxing. So I'm going to drag boxing into the situation, and I'm going to get my conglomerates, my constituency, the commission together, and we're going to take over this boxing thing. He acquired the services of a few boxers. One in particular, pound for pound Donny, Terence Bud Crawford. He seems to really admire Bud. He really seems to admire Terence and his journey. He also admires Canelo Alvarez and Canelo Alvarez's journey. And he also has seen that these guys have a desire to fight. Or you can say Terence Crawford has shown a desire to compete against Saul Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo has never called out Terence Crawford. And to be fair, Terence Crawford has never particularly called out Canelo. It's just that the powers that be and the boxing media and the fans and all this type of stuff kept on asking him and asking him and asking him and asking him. And he achieved everything he wanted to do to the point where he's like, you know what, why not? I'll fight Canelo. Let's do this. Actually, do you know what? I want to fight Canelo. Let's definitely do this. So the Sheikh decided to just take over by the Ring Magazine situation from Golden Boy. And when he done that, he decided to make Ring Magazine a promotional company that put shows on. That, he said, is separate to Riyadh season. He done an interview on the ESPN YouTube channel with that Copinger guy. And he told him all these things. Go and watch that ESPN half an hour interview with Turki Alalshikh and Mike Copinger. And he explains everything. He breaks down all of the things that he's thinking about. What he wants to tell anyway, because there's obviously things that he isn't talking about that are in the works. And he refers to that a bit as well in the video. But let's talk about this Canelo situation, because he reached out to Canelo before. Canelo brushed him off. He didn't like that. Try to get a bit ratty with Canelo. Canelo brushed him off again. And he was like, "Rah, this Canelo guy is a bit serious, isn't it? You're not even business. Let's make this thing official. Set up a meeting." You set up a meeting where the other day they done the Ring Magazine event at some place in London. And everybody came down. And in that place, he spoke with Canelo and he spoke with Terence Crawford. And he arranged that he's going to have Terence Crawford and Bud fight in September. And then that is the beginning of a 3-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez and the Sheikh. But Canelo said, I need to fight in May. The Sheikh said, all right, make sure that it's a good fight, innit? Then he ends up hearing that Canelo's going to fight Jake Paul. He's like, no. I said, have a good fight, bro. You can't be fighting Jake Paul. So he hollers him. He's like, get Canelo on the phone. Quick. He gets Canelo on the phone. He says, Canelo, that fight's going to ruin your legacy. You're too young to be fighting a YouTuber. You're too young for that. You're too young. You're too good. You can have that fight in 30 years' time when you're all 60 and that. That's what he said. Go and watch that YouTube ESPN video. You can fight him when you're 60. Don't do that. Let's adjust our contract and I'll take over that May fight as well. So what's happened is he's taken that May fight and now it seems like he's fighting for the IBF title that he got stripped of and it went to William Skull. So now he's going to fight William Skull. And I don't think that's good for Bud. But Bud thinks that he's fine and he doesn't want to fight till September. He doesn't want to fight till September. That's his choice. I just think he's putting himself at a deficit, even though he's had plenty of professional fights and plenty of championship fights. We'll get into that more when the fight comes and we start breaking down the fight. But at the present moment, we're just talking about the fact that the Sheikh said, nope, you can't be fighting no Jake Paul. This is dumb. This is ridiculous. You need to fight the proper fighters. So what we're going to do is get you to fight William Skull. I'm taking that fight. You're coming Riyadh, big man. You're coming Riyadh. You're having that fight in Riyadh on the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Yeah, you were gonna do this Jake Paul rubbish. I understand that they're giving you big money, and we're not gonna match that offer, yeah. But you can't fight that bro. We're gonna pay you well. We're not gonna pay you like he would have paid you, but you can't have that fight right now. You're too good to be fighting any YouTuber right now at this point in your career. That's ridiculous. And apparently, in that same interview, he said that Canelo told him, "Do you know what, big man? I don't really want to fight that guy, my guy. I don't really want to fight him, but I didn't really have nothing else going for me at the time. So I thought, let me just have that fight and just make that be the fight that I have in May." I don't know why you couldn't have done the William Skull. I believe that whoever is going to put on the William Skull fight wouldn't have been able to pay him how the Sheikh would have paid him for this William Skull fight. So the Sheikh said, yeah, I'll give you the piece for the William Skull fight because that's the type of fight you need to have, right? You're not supposed to be fighting no YouTuber. Fight that fight, and then you can fight Crawford in September. My opinion is that it would have been better for me if Canelo had fought Jake Paul because he wouldn't be sharpening tools per se. It wouldn't be iron sharpening iron per se because he's just a YouTuber, just an exhibition per se. It's not an exhibition for Jake, baby, but it's definitely an exhibition for Canelo. So that's not sharpening the tools. And if Crawford ain't having a fight till then he doesn't need Canelo sharpening his tools in the mean and between time. So it's okay to have that fight. But now that you're going to fight William Skull, who is a natural super middleweight. Natural. This is where he fights. 23 fights, no losses. Not that I've known anything about William Skull. I don't. I'm not going to try and make out that I do. I don't. But what I do know is that he's a true super middleweight. How do I know that, you're saying? Well, in his first fight as a pro, he fought at super middleweight. And then he's been fighting at super middleweight all the way through. He's not fought any less than 165.5 pounds. That's the least amount he's ever weighed. Other than that, he's all fought at 176. He's all fought at light heavyweight and everything. So he is definitely coming down to super middleweight. He's never had to go up. So for me, I just think that these fights, I think that the fights that Canelo had to become undisputed champion were there for him at the time, because at that time he was peaking in his powers. Not to say that he's not peaking in his powers at the moment. I just think that he's had the peak and he's probably plateauing, and he may be on the downward spiral with his abilities. But my thing is, the fact that these guys are naturally super middleweights and they're unknown entities. This is the thing. All the other fighters that he fought at super middleweight and even at light heavyweight, they were all known to at least the boxing fraternity. He couldn't handle Bivol, which makes sense. A good big man's supposed to be a good little man, so that makes sense. But he handled Kovalev, even though he was a bit older. At the same time, William Skull is not someone that we know of per se. You can research his fights, probably find some of his fights out there to go and look at, but he's not someone that's a known entity. And one thing he wouldn't be, I suspect him not to be, is intimidated and fearful of Canelo Alvarez. I imagine that he won't be fearful. I've heard of Vladimir Shishkin, who he beat in his last fight. Other than that, his resume leaves a lot to be desired. It's just that being a true super middleweight is the problem I have with that fight. So even if he doesn't lose, he might get injured to the point where he can't even fight my man in September. But May to September is a nice chunk of space. Even though it's only 4 months, it's decent enough time to heal from most injuries. But boy, you just never know. He might lose. I'm not going to say he's definitely going to win. I'm not going to say he's definitely going to lose. That's for me to try and break down when the fight date comes closer. But for now, we're just talking about the fact that Turki Alalshikh stepped in the last minute, 12th hour to say, no, stop with this stupidness, exhibition stuff. You're not fighting that fight. We have to sort this out because you have to fight proper, man. And that's why I didn't report on it at the time when it was coming through last week, because I would have had to be going back, like making bare different videos, amending what I just said, and amending it again and amending it again. I could see a whole load of stuff going on the boxing social media streets. A lot of stuff going on. Mike Coppinger was posting a lot of stuff that was supposed and apparently, but none of them were actually true, because the Sheikh was just giving him false information to throw him off the scent so he could sort out the actual business without the prying eyes of the general public. The Sheikh gives me jokes still. I can't lie. You should go and watch the video. It's very interesting if you ever interested in what's going on in the boxing future, in the boxing cosmos. have a look at that interview on ESPN, Turki Alalshikh, Mike Coppinger, 3 days ago, and it's got 1.4 million views at this particular moment. I watched it a few times just to make sure that I understand exactly what's being said and make a good account of what he actually said. I recommend everybody go and watch it. Alright? So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.